Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. The Golden Calf. The Israelites were still camped around Mount Sinai. The mountain was still shaking and smoking just as it had when God spoke his 10 rules from out of the cloud. God was still on the mountain in the cloud. Moses left his brother Aaron in charge of the people and climbed up again to talk with God. Joshua went with him while the rest of the Israelites waited at the bottom. For 6 days they waited and prayed. Then God called Moses to come into the cloud and talk with him. Joshua waited nearby. Instead of talking directly to his people, God told Moses to speak to them. God had so many things he wanted to tell them that Moses stayed with him for 40 days. For all those days, Moses didn't need to eat because God's power gave him strength. At the bottom of the mountain, the people were starting to get worried. Moses had been gone for a long time. What if he was dead? Who would lead them and talk to God for them if Moses was gone forever? The people started shouting at Aaron. "Let's go back to Egypt," some said. "Let's go on to the land of Canaan," others demanded. Many others forgot what God had said to them only a few days before. They shouted to Aaron, "Make us a god to worship like the ones we had in Egypt." Aaron was afraid. "These people might hurt me or kill me if I don't do what they want," he said to himself. Then he had an idea. "Bring me your gold earrings and jewelry," he told the people who wanted a god. "I'm sure they won't want to give up their valuable jewelry," he thought. But the people did bring their gold, so Aaron melted it and made it into the shape of a calf. People began to shout, "This golden calf is the God who brought us out of Egypt." Then Aaron built an altar in front of the golden calf. The next day the people had a party and brought offerings to the idol. All night they ate and drank and danced in front of the God they had created. Up on the mountain, God gave Moses 2 flat stones. With his own finger, God wrote his 10 rules on those stones. These stones were precious gifts to his people, but God could see what the Israelites were doing in their camp. "Go back down the mountain, Moses," God said. "The people are already breaking the rules I gave them." So Moses hurried down the mountain. He saw the terrible things the people were doing. Moses was so angry that he threw the flat stones down so hard that they shattered into pieces. Then he marched into camp, grabbed the golden calf, and threw it into the hot fire. When it melted, he ground the gold into powder. Then he dumped the gold powder into the water and made the people drink it. Then Moses shouted, "Whoever is still on God's side, come and stand by me." All of the Levites, the people in the tribe of Levi, came to Moses. None of them had worshipped the golden calf. Many others realized how they had forgotten God, broken his rules, and sinned. But some didn't care about God or his rules. They weren't sorry at all. Moses went back up the mountain to beg God to forgive the people. "Your people did forget you and do a terrible thing, but please forgive them." And God did forgive them. "Go back and lead my people, Moses. My angel will lead the way for you." At Mount Sinai, the Israelites saw a wonderful, powerful God, and they were told that he wanted them to be his special people. But they had a lot to learn about God and about keeping his rules. God wanted them to love him and trust him. He wanted them to learn that keeping his rules would make them happy.
The story you have heard today is from the Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, written by Jerry D. Thomas and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.